This version of Dreamweaver ships with just two workspaces. This is the standard workspace, which provides continuity with previous versions. The document window gives you the choice of working in live view, split view, or code view, and the panel groups on the right give you access to the most frequently used panels. At the top you've got the Files panel, the CC Libraries, Insert, and the CSS Designer. By default, the CSS Designer is displayed in single column layout, but you can convert it to a two-column layout by dragging the edge of the column groups to the left. And there it snaps into a two-column layout, which makes it a lot easier to use. At the bottom you've got the DOM panel, Assets, and Snippets. The Snippets panel has been given a major overhaul, not only by adding a lot of new snippets, but also improving the way you insert them. In addition to double-clicking a snippet, using the context menu, or clicking the insert icon at the bottom of the panel, you can also use what Dreamweaver calls a trigger key. Some of the built-in snippets already have trigger keys assigned to them, and these work rather like a text expander utility. Let's try this one, favicon. What we need to do is to go into the head of the document, add in a new line, type in the trigger key, which is favicon, and then press the tab key, and that inserts the snippet with all the code that you need. All you need to do is to change the value of your path. To add a trigger key to a snippet that doesn't have one, just click to the right of the name, and that opens up a little editing field where you can type in a keyword that you want to use as the trigger key. If you choose a keyword that's already in use, Dreamweaver prevents you from accidentally overwriting it. I haven't had a chance to evaluate all the built-in snippets. Some of them I think are quite useful, others probably less so. But the real value of the Snippets panel is to create snippets of your own, and you can add new snippets and folders, as well as edit and delete existing ones using the icons down at the bottom right. Alternatively, click the hamburger icon at the top right of the panel and open the panel menu. Let's just click New Snippet to see the dialog box for creating a new snippet. You give it a name, a description, optionally a trigger key, and then you insert the code that you want to use. Now, a controversial feature of the revamped Snippets panel is that it no longer has the option to split the code into two blocks to wrap around a selection. It just inserts this single block of code. And there were quite a few complaints about that during the public beta, and there's no indication yet whether Adobe will restore the option at some later stage. A significant absence from the standard workspace is the Property Inspector. It's still accessible. Go to the Window menu, and it's down here, Properties. It initially launches as a floating panel, but if you want it in its old position at the bottom of the document window, just drag the top here down to the bottom of the document window. When you see a blue line, release, and it snaps into its old position. The Property Inspector is an old workhorse that's been part of Dreamweaver for as long as I can remember, and although it has its uses, I think it's well overdue a major overhaul, and that's probably why it's no longer displayed by default. The Window menu also offers access to other panels that you might want to use. Let's just take a look. Maybe you want to use the CSS Transitions panel or the Extract panel that can extract images and CSS style rules from a Photoshop file. You can then organize the panels to suit your own workflow, and then go to the Workspace switcher up here and select New Workspace. But it's important when creating your own workspace to arrange everything the way you want before selecting New Workspace and giving it a name. If you don't, you'll lose all your changes if you ever click Reset. Well, that concludes our tour of the standard workspace. Let's take a quick look at the developer workspace by selecting it here in the Workspace switcher. And this is a really stripped down coding environment. There's just Code View, the Files panel, Snippets panel, and the Common toolbar on the left. The Document toolbar is hidden, so the only way to switch to Live View or Split View is through the View menu up here. But the idea of the developer workspace is to avoid using Live View altogether. If you want to see what your web page looks like, you should use Real-Time Preview, which launches the page in a browser, and we'll be taking a look at Real-Time Preview in Chapter 3. By removing Live View and all the other panels from the developer workspace, Dreamweaver shuts down the resources used in the background by the visual tools, so the developer workspace puts the program into what might be called economy or turbo mode, a lean, clean coding environment that's fast. And Dreamweaver also starts up more quickly if you close the program while in the developer workspace. So when you're working on code, use the developer workspace. But if you need Live View and Dreamweaver's other visual tools, they're just a couple of clicks away through the workspace switcher in the standard workspace.